What up, what up, what up? Matt, Legacy 4x4. This time we are working on a Weld-on disc brake conversion, courtesy from our friends at Lugnut 4x4. Used them a bunch for these jobs, getting rid of these drum brakes, moving to disc brakes. And this is a 2000 Dana 60 rear drum brake axle out of a Ford E350. Since it came out of a van, it's not the most desirable axle. This one came with drum brakes and they're absolutely destroyed, so we're gonna go ahead and get rid of them. As you can see, I already pulled the axle shaft out of the case and axle. That was as simple as removing the center pin, removing the C-clip, and then pulling the axle shaft out. I also went ahead and took all 4 of the nuts off the disc brake housing. So now we're gonna go ahead and hammer this rusty piece of shoot. We're gonna go ahead and hammer this rusty drum brake off. That way we can get rid of it and we can start laying out the Weld-on disc brakes. Junk, absolute junk. Okay, here's the laser cut bracket from Lugnut 4x4. Yeah, you saw how it goes on. It'll probably go on this end of the bracket, but you get it. It just fits around the axle tube. That's gonna get welded in. Really nice machine work on their side of the house, makes life super easy. But here's how the outside of my previous drum brake Dana 60 looks. I went ahead and knocked all of the studs out of this outside flange since we won't be using it. But yeah, next step's gonna be reinstalling the axle shaft. That way I know the approximate distance, not approximate, I know the exact distance where everything's gonna sit. All we did was push that rotor over the outer edge of the axle flange, and then we went ahead and pre-mounted the calipers and the pads assembly all together. As you can see, the bracket is just resting on the axle right now, not in its final place. And yeah, this is where we're at. Pre-mounting the brackets and the caliper is really just as easy as lining them up and putting the caliper mounting bolts through it, so no big deal. Easy lemon squeezy so far. Let's get it. Welded in by itself, but for demonstration purposes, this one's going to get tacked in place. That's everything fully welded in. I'm gonna go ahead and paint it black and rebuild the brakes, aka put the rotors and calipers back on, put the wheels on. So, all right, got the other side all buttoned up. Bracket is painted on this side. Gonna go ahead and put together this brake system. Rotor, caliper, wheel, that easy. Then real quick. And we'll torque it after. I knew where the wheel was at. Pneumatic feed block. There we go. Brand new bucket. What's up, guys? So I shot some walk around footage, but the mic was all muffled because I had my GoPro case on. The brakes are done, so I'll show you the brakes and I'll show you some of the walk around footage as well, kind of overlaying this little talk we're about to have about progress on the Tuggy Buggy. But yep, that's everything installed. Disc brakes on all 4 corners. Very happy with the outcome, super easy to do. And again, sorry if that video was choppy at the end. I had my case on, I didn't even realize it was messing with the audio, so. All right, so my rear brakes actually ended up needing spacers to fit on the hub. This is just a test spacer, that's why none of the lug nuts are on. I'm gonna go with like 1/2-inch spacers, but this hub doesn't actually clearance the idea of the wheel center, which is, you know, fine, mixed mass parts. That's like, this wheel I think is originally from like a 12-valve Cummins, so you know, doesn't fit on 2000 Ford E350 axle centers, so whatever, all good. Just gonna run some small spacers on there and call it a day. So those aren't installed yet, but that's how they will look in the end of the day. And coming back around, as we can see right here, we kind of have our disc brakes, everything welded on, rotors nice and tight, caliper floats right here, and obviously banjo bolts and everything else, just normal disc brake operations. So that's how that all looks. Really stoked with that, very happy with the outcome. So now we have disc brakes in all 4 corners, and wheels are on. Here's the walk around footage. This is going to be a little bit of a voice overlay off the top of my head, but we're making really good progress on this Tuggy Buggy. It has came a long way since I first bought this a couple months ago. Everything's sitting nice and pretty. The stance on it will be about 3 to 4 inches taller, depending on clearances once everything's said and done. Right now it's riding on the bump stops and riding on the ends of the air shocks, which is fine. It makes it easier to work on when it's lower to the ground. So we also have some small things being done as we're walking around. You can see AN lines are halfway ran. We got trans lines, fuel lines ran, just super easy stuff. Drive shafts are hanging. Both of those are Tom Woods 1410 custom drive shafts. Super great drive shafts, really stoked with those. We got a super flex joint in the rear. Everything should work great. PRP seats looking amazing, still loving those. And hydro steering, you guys probably won't see the hydro steering video before this one comes out, but hydro steering is in progress as well. Got that big single inlet ram on the front, that's 8 by 2.5 inch ram, and then we'll do the rest just normal hydro steering stuff. So super stoked. Everything's turning out pretty great on this. I'm very excited for it. Don't know what video is going to come out next for it. I'm working on like 4 at once for it. So with that being said, let's just finish this walk around Tuggy Buggy, and I'll catch you guys next time.